Hi, Gene here with today's thought. Whoever's sick of wokeism, all these woke policies and these multiple sexes and the earth is going to burn to a cinder if we don't go to quote-unquote net zero and sacrifice our entire standard of living to the pagan climate gods of our friends on the left. If that's how you feel, raise your hand. Okay, so that's me, and I have a feeling I'm not the only one. But what is surprising to me is when I say we're not the only one, I would have meant in the United States, but it looks like this whole being fed up with wokeism, it's spreading across the world, and specifically Europe. You're seeing the very right-wing party in Germany. They're ahead in the polls now, or they're doing better than the other polls. There's so many parties, so they don't have a majority over 50%, but they are polling the highest right now, the last time I read, which was not too long ago, of any party. They're called Alternative for Deutschland, Alternative for Germany. Their main platform is immigration. They want it stopped. They probably want, I don't know. I don't want to, I could be wrong. I haven't researched it, but I'm sure I suspect they would be happy with having a lot of the aliens that have flooded into Germany, have them deported. In Sweden, the government is calling out the army to deal with all they've had a lot of, you don't think of Sweden as a violent place, but you're having a lot of bombings. Bombings seem to be the preferred method of warfare between all these Muslim gangs that have sprung up in Sweden. The people there, the Swedes, are finally fed up with that, and they're calling out the army to give them the authority to go after these people. And I believe they're talking about deporting too. We'll see what happens over there, but I want to talk specifically about England, because England is now on the bandwagon now, or it might be. We'll have to see how the next election turns out. Right now, the right is in power in England. The Conservative Party and the Tory Party, that's the right wing in England. The Labour Party, though, the last I read, they're expected to do well to win the next parliamentary elections. But right now, the Conservatives are in charge, and it's interesting because what I'm about to tell you, they're getting pushback, the Conservatives, from the other part of the conservative wing, the Tories, which are kind of the mainstream, the equivalent, I would say, of the Republican Party here, except not nearly as conservative as, when you say conservative in England, you're not talking about, like here, you're not talking about Reagan or something, but the Conservative Party might be different because, and also I believe in Germany they're going back to nuclear power. They're not going to, the green energy, the Green New Deal, whatever the equivalent is in Germany, that appears to be, if not dead, comatose and on life support. And that's the situation in England. And that brings us to the Prime Minister of England. The Prime Minister of England, who took over from Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak is his name. Rishi Sunak. Here he is. There's his photo. And he is a prime minister, and he did a couple of surprising things that are really, the left, they're just blowing a gasket over this, because he said there was a policy, or was going to be a policy, to switch to force all of Britain to switch to electric cars by a specific date. I forget the exact date, but that was supposed to be the policy, and Rishi Sunak came out and said that's not going to be the policy because it's not practical. You just can't do it. Here they don't care. Well, here and there they don't care whether it's practical or not. You have here and there, you have people sitting, and that's another pushback that you're seeing. These idiots who sit in the middle of the road and block traffic, and they're fed up in England. They're fed up up in Italy, other places too, I believe, the Netherlands, and here too we saw on an Indian reservation where the Indian police came out and moved protesters off the road, drove a car right through their little barricade they had set up, and in Europe, you're seeing motorists getting out of their cars and dragging these idiots right off of the street. So you're seeing this pushback. But getting back to Rishi Sunak, so he said, well, we're not going to do this new Green Deal. We're not going to switch to electric cars. Either, he said, we're indefinite, switch the specific date to an indefinite date, or put it off in the future. But what I'm going to focus on today, I'm going to show you a video in a second, is Rishi Sunak just speaking common sense, which is all too rare here, even on the conservative side. Just speaking common sense, and that's where we are these days. That just saying something that is just common sense is suddenly controversial. But anyways, here's Rishi Sunak.
And it also shouldn't be controversial for parents to know what their children are being taught in school about relationships. Patients should know when hospitals are talking about men or women. And we shouldn't get bullied. And we shouldn't get bullied into believing that people can be any sex they want to be. They can't. A man is a man and a woman is a woman. That's just common sense.
So refreshing to hear what you just heard. I don't think I even hear on the even conservatives. I don't think they have. They may have ridiculed the idea of multiple sexes and all that, but you rarely see somebody coming out. I haven't heard Donald Trump come out and say what Rishi Sunak just did. Just say we're fed up with this nonsense. There are two sexes. There are men. There are women. That's it. Period. End of story. And why are we even talking about this? Why isn't this? Why is this even a subject of discussion? And that's my thought for today. Thanks for stopping by. If you could subscribe, that would really be great. Share this video with anyone you think would benefit from it. But most of all, come back and see me again. We'd love to see all of you again. And until I do see all of you again, bye.